Okay, let's roll right into our Coors Light qualifying, post-qualifying here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick, second fastest. He'll line up on that front row. He drives the number 4 Jimmy John's Budweiser Chevrolet. For Stewart-Haas, he's our defending NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. Kevin, congratulations on an outstanding qualifying effort. I know you like racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is your kind of racetrack. And just talk about how your car's running and your outlook for this weekend.
Yeah, I think Joey's had the fastest, one-lap car from what we watched in practice, and I thought our car was okay. And we probably had a shot at it. I just didn't line everything up to hit all the marks there in the last run. So I did a somewhat bad job in the last run and a really bad job on the first run. So so far my scorecard is 1 and 3. So it's a challenging racetrack to get it all right. I feel good about where our car is for the long run and look forward to the race.
Questions for Kevin Harvick. Start right here, far right, Reed Spencer, and then Bob Pockris.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Kevin, why did the qualifying section today defy conventional wisdom in the respect that you guys went faster than the last pole speed, and the pole speed was faster on the last qualifying lap on old tires?
You can just watch the thermometer. I think as you go through the first round, the tires, they come back with the temperature down like this. The tires come back so easily to their static pressure, and I think when you look at how you start the tires and you run one lap, they don't get as much build, and then they come right back to where you set them. So I think when you look at that and you see how fast the cars are running, and the cooler air is so much better for making downforce. But I think that's going to be a normal trend. Everybody's been talking about it and telling everybody that this corner speeds are going to be up, and in qualifying they're up 11 miles an hour in the center of the corner. So that's pretty much going to be the norm. When you slow them down going down the straightaway, they're going to get faster through the center of the corner.
Over here to the right, Bob Pockris.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Have you worked with the adjustable track bar at all, either yesterday or today? And maybe, I don't think you would use it in qualifying at all, but did you?
Yeah, I've used it every practice, every time on the racetrack, used it in qualifying. So yeah, we've definitely been using the track bar adjuster. Well, I'm not using it just for fun. It does make a cool noise, but yeah, I wouldn't be using it if it wasn't helping.
Let's go over here to the gentleman here. Right here, let's get him the mic.
Kevin, I was talking to Dan Rooney earlier, and you mentioned you have a real interest in the sponsor of this race. Where did that stem from, and what do you think might be accomplished here this week with what's going on? Yeah, well, I think when you look at Major Dan and the things that he's done with the Folds of Honor, and we have 3 sponsors that participate with Budweiser, Jimmy John's, and Outback in the Folds of Honor. And make contributions to the foundation. But when you look at the the amount of money that they bring in, but the amount of money that they spend on these military families to give back is pretty remarkable. And Major Dan works really hard, and his group works really hard to make sure that they're using that money wisely, and they work really hard at raising it too. So it's a great organization. And anytime you're around Major Dan, you feel like when you get done talking to him, you just feel like you're a better person, and you have a little bit bigger bounce in your step. So, but the most important thing is usually every time I see Major Dan, we win that week. So hopefully we can celebrate at the end of Sunday's race at the end of Victory Lane.
Let's go here to Nate, and then we'll go to Stan.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Kevin, I guess to a layman looking at 125 less horsepower, 24% less downforce, when you see speeds are up 3.5 miles an hour over last year, you're kind of surprised. But were the teams and drivers not surprised where you're talking about 11 miles an hour faster in the corner? Did you guys know it was going to be probably faster than last year?
Absolutely. I mean, every test we've ever been to, when they slow them down the straightaway, the speeds pick up in the center of the corner because you're just not approaching the corner faster, so as fast. I think that the difference is probably 20 miles an hour, at a lot of these places is in qualifying trim as to how fast you're approaching the corner. And when you take that much power, and the other thing that not a lot of people talk about is the gear. So you're turning around 9,000 RPM. So when you take, that's probably, gosh, that's 800 or 900 less RPM, as well as the power reduction on top of that. So, you know, when you take that much power and you do that again with the gear, you're just not going to approach the corners fast, and you're just going to be able to carry more throttle, and you're going to carry more center of the corner speed.
Let's go here.
This is a unique situation though, because the car is probably making 8 or 9% more downforce, just because it's 40 to 50 degrees cooler than when we were here last year. So that's really one of the biggest reasons that the speeds are up. You know, and that's the biggest reason. Yeah, I don't think they'll be up as much. I mean, you're talking a 50-degree swing in temperature here. So when you're adding 8%, 9% of downforce to the car just because of air density, that's a big change. I mean, it's making more downforce than what they took off, probably, compared to how we raced here last year at this particular track from summertime to winter. You know, it's probably actually, even with the spoiler cut off, it's probably making as much, if not more, downforce just because of the air density difference.
Let's go to Paul right there in the middle, and then we'll go to Stan. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, Kevin, if you notice so many cars not actually even getting out on the track, was that surprising that, 13 didn't even get to make a run?
I was just happy mine was out there. You know, there's obviously, I try to just focus on my job and do the best that I can. So if that was one of our cars, you just sit and support the guys and hope you make it. And I've been on that side of it before too.
Stan
Creekmore with Competition Plus. Did you learn anything during the qualifying laps that you think you can move over to the race itself to make you even better
Nothing.
during the race?
No,
Empty?
not at this place. This is just one of those places where lap 10 is going to be really where you see if your car is going to shine or not. Everything that happens before lap 10 is just getting going, and lap 10 to lap 50 is really where you're going to make your money. And you know, you got to have the car handling good and keep the fall off as minimal as possible. Really happy that I'm racing tomorrow's race because the cars are, you know, driving very similar with the power reduction. So it's definitely a rhythm type racetrack, but there's really nothing. Setups are so much different, and the way you drive it is just really really aggressive. And this place doesn't lean itself to the tires lasting very long if you're really aggressive like you were in qualifying every lap.
Let's go right here, front row, Jay.
Jay Pennell with Fox Sports. As somebody who's won the Daytona 500 before, what does it do for your momentum and confidence and everything? I mean, we came here today, and Joey's been fast all day, goes out there, wins the pole. Did you experience any of that in the times that you've won?
I didn't. Our 2007 wasn't great. We won the Daytona 500 in the All-Star race, and I don't remember much else about shining spots about it. But, you know, winning the Daytona 500 is going to, whether you're having a bad second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week, is going to stick with you for a while. You know, that's just our sport's biggest race, and it's just a huge accomplishment, and it's going to, even if you're not running good, it's going to carry that momentum. So in their situation, obviously they're running good, and on top of the heap right now. So it's definitely got the capability of carrying that momentum and can make your season. You know, it's just you know, I think Trevor Bayne's a classic example of that, and winning the Daytona 500 has definitely kept him relevant in today's world.
Any other questions for Kevin Harvick? Right here. Final question.
Tactical on NASCAR.com. Between last year's cat and/or squirrel, whatever it was.
Let's get something straight. The Atlanta Motor Speedway worker that works in turn 3 corralled the gray cat that ran out in front of me. And he was the first one to come to my garage stall and come talk to me about the cat. He's like, I really wish you'd tell all these people that really was a cat. So the gray cat lives in the little shed out there, outside of the corner, and it was a cat. So that squirrel that was running around is not what ran in front of me. I can promise you that.
Okay. Well, for the purposes of this question, cat.
Are you going to make a make-believe story or a real story?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, between.
If you are, you need to put that squirrel suit on that interview.
That wasn't me. That was Chuck.
Okay.
So between all of that and then everything, all the crazy things that happened today, between, you know, the stolen car and Denny's motor coach and everything, I mean, what is it about Atlanta that, you know, all these crazy things keep happening?
You know what? I hope they have a phenomenal weekend, because this is one of the greatest racetracks on our circuit. You know, you hear a lot of talk about a lot of different things and crazy things happening, and the weather, you know, going to be as cold as it is this weekend. But this is one of the greatest racetracks that we race on. Produces some of the best racing, and this racetrack needs to stay on our schedule, because it's a great place to race. As a race fan, it's got to be a fun place to watch a race. So, you know, I love coming here, and you know, it used to be cold in Rockingham in week 2, and it used to be cold in Atlanta on week 3. You know, when we used to race here 14, 15 years ago, and long before I came around. So it's you know, there's some strange things happening, but it makes unique headlines.
Kevin, thanks a lot,
Thank you,
and
guys.
good luck this weekend.